They say love makes you blind, but no one ever tells you what it feels like when you finally open your eyes. My name is Emma Hale, and this is how I learned that lesson the hardest way possible. 2 years ago, I thought I was living my dream. I had a job I loved, a cozy apartment, and a boyfriend who made me laugh until my cheeks hurt. His name was Jason. Charming, spontaneous, and just unpredictable enough to make life exciting. He'd always tell me, "Emma, one day I'm going to give you the world." And I believed him. Every late night call, every "I love you" whispered between laughter and coffee, I believed all of it. Back then, I wasn't rich, but I was proud of what I had. I'd been saving for years, a small fund I'd jokingly called my someday account. Someday, I'd travel, or buy a home, or maybe even start my own business. Jason always said he admired my discipline. He'd say, "You're amazing, Em. You think long term. That's why I want a future with you." And I'd smile, feeling lucky, not knowing that those same words would one day make me sick to my stomach. It started small. He'd borrow cash here and there, 100 for gas, 50 for a gift, a few hundred for rent. I never minded. We were partners, right? That's what love meant to me. Sharing, trusting, building together. Then one evening, he took me out to dinner. The kind that felt like a movie scene. Candlelight, music, and that look in his eyes that said something big was coming. I could feel it, the way his hands trembled slightly across the table, the nervous smile. He said softly, "Emma, I've been waiting for the perfect moment." And then, right there, in front of everyone, he dropped to one knee. "Will you marry me?" The restaurant erupted in applause. My eyes filled with tears. It was everything I'd ever imagined. I didn't even look at the ring at first. I was too caught up in the moment, in the magic. When I finally did, it was beautiful. A simple gold band with a small diamond that sparkled under the lights. I couldn't stop staring. He had done it. Jason had really done it. What I didn't know, what I couldn't even imagine, was that the ring on my finger had been paid for entirely with my own money. But that truth was still waiting in the shadows. And when it came out, it wouldn't just break my heart. It would destroy everything I thought love was. The night of the proposal felt like a dream. Everyone at the restaurant clapped, people cheered, and Jason held me like he'd never let go. I felt loved, wanted, chosen. The next morning, I woke up to find the ring glinting in the sunlight. I remember whispering to myself, "This is it. This is forever." But forever, it turns out, can start with a lie. A few weeks later, small things started to catch my attention. Jason became distant. His phone, once always face up, now lay face down. His laughter felt forced, his eyes darting away during conversations. I brushed it off. Everyone gets stressed, right? Then one afternoon, I came home early from work. Jason wasn't there, but his laptop was open. I didn't mean to look, I really didn't, but a subject line on his email froze me in place. Payment confirmation, $4,200, diamond proposal package. My heart stopped. I stared at the date, 2 days before our engagement night. The payment was made from an account under my name, my card number, my bank, my money. I remember whispering out loud, "No, that can't be right." I thought maybe it was a glitch, maybe a mistake. But the more I scrolled, the worse it got. Every transaction from the last few months, fancy dinners, the weekend getaway, the proposal photo shoot, all charged to my account. He had been using my savings. The same savings I'd told him were for my future. I sat there on the couch, trembling, scrolling through my own stolen life. The man who promised me forever had built it using everything I'd worked for. When Jason came home that night, I was still sitting there, silent, numb, the laptop open beside me. He walked in with flowers. "Hey, babe, you okay? You look pale." I didn't say anything at first. I just turned the screen toward him. The color drained from his face faster than I could blink. "Jason," I whispered, "why is my money paying for your proposal?" He opened his mouth and then closed it again. No words, just silence, thick enough to choke on. That silence told me everything I needed to know. The man I thought loved me had been planning this betrayal for months. I felt my chest tighten, my pulse echoed in my ears. The ring on my finger suddenly felt heavier, colder, almost cruel. I didn't cry, not yet, because I knew this was just the beginning.
Emma, please, it's not what you think. Those were his first words. Not, "I'm sorry," not, "let me explain," just a desperate attempt to right what was right in front of me. He reached for my hand, but I pulled away. My voice trembled. "Not what I think. Jason, I can literally see the receipts." He started pacing, running his hands through his hair like a guilty man rehearsing a confession he didn't want to make. "Look, babe, I was going to pay you back. I didn't want you to think I couldn't afford it." His voice cracked, but it wasn't guilt. It was panic, the kind that comes when your mask starts to fall. "You always talk about how you're saving for the future, and I wanted to be part of that, okay?" I stared at him, disbelief burning behind my eyes. "So you decided to steal from me? To impress me with my own money?" He snapped. "It wasn't stealing. We're supposed to share everything. What's yours is mine, right?" I flinched because for a moment, a horrible, fleeting moment, I almost believed him. That's what love does to you. It convinces you that betrayal is a misunderstanding, that manipulation is a mistake, that pain can still be disguised as passion. I whispered, barely holding my breath. "You looked me in the eyes, Jason. You told me you'd been saving for months. You said it was your dream to make me your wife." He looked down. "I meant it," he said softly. "I just didn't have the money right then. You had it. We're a team, Emma. I thought it was okay." His voice dripped with fake sincerity. I stood up, my legs shaking, my pulse screaming in my ears. "A team?" I said quietly. "A team doesn't rob its own players, Jason." He tried to laugh off, but the sound fell flat, hollow. "Come on, babe. Don't make this a big deal. I'll pay it back, okay? I love you." "I love you?" He said it like it was a get-out-of-jail-free card. But love doesn't sound like that, not when it's built on lies. The silence between us stretched, thick and painful. My eyes drifted toward the ring, still on my finger. It glimmered under the dim kitchen light, mocking me. Slowly, I pulled it off. The tiny diamond sparkled in my palm, a perfect symbol of everything broken. I placed it on the table. "You can keep it," I whispered. "You bought it, after all." He reached out, desperate, but I stepped back. I need time, I said quietly. I need space. What I really needed was to breathe without drowning in his lies. As I watched toward the door, I heard him say, "You'll forgive me, right? You always do." And maybe he was right. I always had. But not this time. This time, forgiveness would come with a price.
That night, I didn't sleep. The city outside was quiet, but inside me, there was a storm. I kept replaying his words. "We're a team, Emma. What's yours is mine." The kind of sentence that sounds loving until you realize it's just a prettier version of theft. I opened my laptop. My hands shook as I logged into my bank account. The numbers hit me like a punch. Withdrawals, small at first, then bigger. Over 3 months, almost $5,000. He hadn't just used my money for the ring. He'd been using me long before the proposal. The fancy dinners, the weekend trips, the business investment he claimed was for our future. It was all my money. I felt sick. My heart wasn't breaking anymore. It was hardening. The next morning, I went to my best friend Leah's apartment. When she opened the door, one look on my face and she just said, "What did he do this time?" I told her everything, the proposal, the receipts, the lies. By the time I finished, her hands were clenched into fists. "Emma, this isn't love. This is manipulation." I nodded, tears running down my face. "I know, but it still hurts like love." That's the cruel part about betrayal. It feels the same as heartbreak, but it cuts deeper because you were never fighting an accident. You were fighting a choice. Leah leaned forward, her tone calm but firm. "You need to end it, Emma, for good, and make sure he doesn't do this to someone else." That night, I met Jason one last time. He was already smiling when he saw me, confident, like he thought I'd come to forgive him. "Hey, babe," he said softly. "I knew you'd come around." I smiled, a small, tired smile. "You're right. I did come around, just not for you." His smile faltered. "What do you mean?" I took out the folder from my bag, printed screenshots, bank records, every transaction. "You used me, Jason. You lied. And now I'm done protecting you. If you don't return every dollar you took by next week, I'll go to the police." My voice didn't shake this time. He laughed nervously. "Come on, you wouldn't do that. You love me." I looked him in the eyes. "No, Jason, I loved the person I thought you were. That man doesn't exist." For the first time, he had no words, and I had all of mine back. As I walked away, the ring still sat on the table between us, a small circle of metal, but to me, it looked like a broken chain. Outside, the air was cold, but for the first time in weeks, I could breathe. And I promised myself, the next time someone asked for my heart, I'd make sure they never touched my wallet.
3 months have passed. The bruises on my heart, they're fading. Not because I forgot, but because I finally learned what remembering with peace feels like. After that night, Jason tried calling a few times. I didn't answer. He sent one last text. "I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hurt you." I looked at it,
smiled softly, and deleted it without replying. There are some apologies that don't need to be heard. They need to be outgrown. I moved into a small apartment downtown. It's quiet, sunlit, and mine. The first thing I bought was a cheap secondhand desk, the kind with tiny scratches and stories of its own. That's where I started writing again. Funny how pain can silence you for a while, and then suddenly give you a voice louder than ever before. One afternoon, I met Leah at our favorite cafe. She looked at me for a moment, then smiled. "You seem lighter," she said. I laughed softly. "I am. I stopped chasing closure from people who never gave me honesty." Leah raised her cup in a mock toast. "To Emma 2.0, stronger, smarter, and officially scam-proof." We both laughed until tears rolled down our cheeks. Later that week, I got an envelope in the mail. It was from Jason. Inside was a check, every dollar he owed me. No note, no excuses, just quiet repayment. I stared at it for a while, then folded it back into the envelope. I didn't cash it. Instead, I put it in a drawer, a reminder. Not of what he took, but of what I got back. Myself. Sometimes love doesn't end in a wedding. Sometimes it ends in wisdom. And that's okay. A few weeks later, I went for a walk in the park. The air was crisp and the sun dipped low behind the trees. A couple walked by, laughing, their fingers intertwined. For the first time, I didn't feel envy, just quiet hope. Because I know one day someone will love me the way I love now, with honesty, not convenience, with heart, not wallet. I looked up at the sky and whispered, "Thank you, life, for the lesson, even if it came wrapped in heartbreak." And as I walked home, I realized something. The ring was gone, the money was gone, but the story, my story, had just begun.